This is the Why the Hell podcast with Ty and Ken. And we are proud to say we are brought to you by thegamingcorner.org.
Welcome back to the Why the Hell podcast with Ty and Kenny and Ty, whatever you want to call it. How you doing, man?
Not bad, bro. You know, survived the weekend from trying to put up that shed, all of us together. How you doing? I know you just had a big old ordeal going on right now in Costco.
So, just to give people a little bit of insight before we get into my quick Costco story, this shed he was talking about is like probably the size of, I don't know, your pillow. Your pillow combined, and it took a couple hours. And you know, there's literal blood, sweat, and tears, and like 6 people, and we didn't get paid for this. Just saying, slavery. But
listen. In my defense, when I invited everybody, I told everybody straight out, this is free manual labor. You're being compensated with food, drinks, and that's it. You know, you guys showed up, and I appreciate you guys for doing that. Come to find out, the fiance told me that when she bought the shed, it had said that between 2 people would have taken 12 hours to assemble. So I appreciate you guys because for the most part, we knocked it out in 4.
yeah, whoever is a company who's making this shed, I wish we could shout them out. Because there's no reason that small shed, and no offense, maybe I'm not throwing shade at your shed, but I'm saying there's no reason a shed that size should take that long with so many screws. It's like, yo, can you kind of pre-assemble some of this for us? Thanks. Just saying. It was ridiculous. I've never seen so many screws in my life.
And the instructions didn't help. I felt like the instructions was like reading rocket science at some points in time.
Very IKEA-like instructions. But yeah, you know, let's jump right into it. I'm coming fresh out of Costco. Anyone who knows me knows my third love in life is Costco. I don't know what my first 2 are, but you know, whatever. And I bought a laptop, a MacBook Air. I think I shared that with you guys last week. And I went and got the Apple Care with it because, you know, I'm clumsy. And when I went to get the Apple Care at the time, they were like, our system is down. So I was like, word, bet. But she was like, you got a new computer. You can come back. All right. So I go back. She's like, just bring your receipt. I bring my receipt. The dude is like, yeah, but we also need the box. So I'm like, all right, cool, bet. I'm going to bring the receipt and a box next time. So I go back another week later, which is today. And I'm on the phone with Kenny beforehand, you know, crying about emotional stuff, whatever. And then I'm like, yo, I got to go into Costco for a quick minute. Thing is going to take like 15 minutes, whatever. It took me almost 2 whole hours for them to tell me I can't get Apple Care because of whatever the case may be. And I just will say, hey, well, can you refund me? And what makes this story funny is like, I could have been irate. I could have been like, what are y'all doing? But it doesn't make the situation any better. But I'm standing there in my church loafers with, you know, a nice little Gap button up and some blue shorts to kind of paint a picture. I'm just sitting there on my phone looking like a straight creeper as waves of people pass me, right? And even one guy was just like, yo, what are they doing for you? And I say that because that was his voice. And I'm like, that was my response. And, you know, shout out to my dude at Costco who was trying to help me out. But I just want to say, Costco, I love y'all. I'm never going to turn on y'all, ever. But if y'all knew y'all got an Apple Care system and you have people coming back in, I'm going to need y'all to get your story straight. It's either do I bring the receipt in the box, or can y'all not do nothing for me? Because I'm not even pissed about not getting Apple Care. I'm pissed that I just wasted 2 hours at Costco and I didn't even walk around or buy nothing.
Yeah, that sounds like an ordeal right there.
So if anyone from Costco who works at Costco, who's in Costco, I don't know, even if you take out the trash for Costco or you used to work for Costco, you listen to this, please reach out to us and let us know, is this me? Is this a my fault thing? Like, I don't know. Whatever. And I'm just drinking coffee. There's nothing in this coffee, but there should be.
You know, well, we're gonna share this. We're gonna tag them up. We're gonna take this quick minute. We're gonna tag Costco, see if they could reach out to us, let us know what they could do about it.
But I don't want them to divorce me. I don't want them thinking I'm coming at their necks. I just want to know how we can get conclusion where nobody else has to sit there and look like a creeper for 2 hours in a motherfucking Costco near the return line. Oh. What's up with you, man? What's been up?
Not much, you know. It's been a regular week, I would say. Nothing crazy since the last time we recorded, when we dropped episode 2. You know, kind of I felt like lost in translation for like 4 or 5 days. The wifey was on a girls trip, and I was just kind of, you seen that meme of the dude just sitting around like at the bench, at the swing, on the couch at home. That's kind of how I felt, because it was like a trifecta. She wasn't here for 4 days. It was little man's weekend with his mom, and then my stepdaughter wasn't here. So I was sitting here. Other than the physical human interaction I had was when you guys came here on Saturday, help out with the shed, and I was like, holy crap. And then we didn't even do game night because the shed just took out everything anybody had in them, right? So,
because again, that was indentured servitude. I feel like I had to run for my life.
Can we talk about our boy Ant, how he showed up in just straight going out gear? Like, everybody else was prime and ready to get sweaty, get dirty, put a shed together. Homie showed up, put 1 screw on, got roasted most of the time, ate like 3 plates of food, and then was like, I'ma head out.
Everyone has that friend who shows up to help out, or whatever the case may be, you know, the cookout, game night, whatever. Everyone has that friend who shows up and does the bare minimum and is there for like 15 to 20 minutes until they give you some bullshit ass excuse about why they can't be there. That is Anthony. Anthony is always there for no longer than 20 minutes. If you get 15 minutes out of Ant, that's even lucky. My man literally put in a singular screw. I want people to understand there's probably like 15 million screws to this little ass shed. And he helped put in 1 and then said, it looked like y'all don't need me. Before my man's hopped out on a bike. After he sat there in his tight ass jeans and his fucking military boots. Mind you, he's not in the military. Just saying.
Yep.
Watching TikTok.
Yo, out of everybody, man, he was completely useless that day. Completely.
Oh, 100%.
Listen.
Motherfucking muscles is too big to be sitting down on a fucking chair looking at TikTok. Get your fucking muscles and put them shits to work and screw a fucking screw in.
Nah. In his defense, he'll say, oh, you guys were coming at me crazy. So why am I going to get up and do anything? You guys ain't need me there. You guys ain't want me there. You know how he does.
In his defense, I will say this. If anyone, we'll have to tag his Instagram in this, you know, give him some free promotion.
Yep.
Maybe he'll watch. But I say that to say, if anyone, once you click on his profile, you'll see why I'm defending him. And he can't really see. He has this eye problem where like he squints at everything. We keep trying to tell him he needs glasses. He's probably nearsighted, but he doesn't want to listen to us. So maybe that's why he didn't help. Maybe he was just like, damn, I can't really see these screws. I guess you'd be farsighted. But anyway, he can't see. Every picture is just like, you know, what you say. He calls it his fuckboy look, but I'm thinking he just can't see. So maybe that's why he didn't help.
Listen, he squints in every picture. I've seen the last couple pictures he posted, and he's like this, just squinting, one eye more than the other. Like, he even texted back on one point. He was like, "Yo, no bullshit. I'll give you guys that. The sun was in my eyes. I forgot my glasses." I'm like, okay.
But my question is that the wave? Is that what we're doing out here? Is that like how you're getting the ladies? Because I feel like I'm on some of these dating sites sometimes, and I'm not getting hits. And it's like, I'm getting blah, 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 whatever. Not to put anyone's business out there, whatever. When he was, I don't know what his whole situation is. But I'm saying, like, you get a bunch of likes. Maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe I need to start squinting, take my contacts out, and just walk around blind as fuck. Just, you know what I mean? Because I feel like maybe that's what the ladies want. I don't know.
That might be. They might
I need the listeners to let me know what what I need to do to increase my like count on the social media that I don't have, by the way.
Listen, I think you just need to go through your 101 with Ant on how to take pictures, I guess. Start squinting, start hitting the light skin pose. And see if you get that what is it, Bumble game up, Tinder. Get that out there, you slacking. You need to be talking to him. He's over here killing it on those apps, he says.
If he's on those apps. Again, we don't know. We don't know his situations, what is it called? Entanglements that he may be having. So that if he is on there, I'm pretty sure he's doing well. But no, man, before I want to give people kind of insight what this week's topic is before we get into it. We'll talk about a few other things. But
before we get into the topic, right? Real 2 seconds. I want anybody that's listening to the podcast on a podcast service, I'm gonna need you to switch over to the actual YouTube video, because right here, the picture of the week, I might start like a picture a week, but it's starting here, right? So I'm gonna edit right into this moment right here. Punta Papi, right? Our boy Punta Papi, Chef Sai.
Oh, thought it was me. Oh, I got some suspect pictures out there.
No, not you. This week, he had made my favorite picture so far right now. Punta Papi, our boy Chef Sai was in DR, decided he was going to take the most thug picture in the world with a lizard and bandana as a face mask and the whole go through. And I told him that's going to be my thug face every single time somebody says something crazy. I'm going to reply back with that face. Just a crop picture of him.
Just hit him with the pow, lizard on his shoulder. Pow, pow.
So for those, scooch over, you'll see the picture. But Ty, now let's jump into it. Let us know, what's the topic of the week?
All right, so this week our topic was wow, I totally just had a brain fart. Let me backtrack, blip in time, glitch in the matrix. So our topic this week is we kind of all had these shared experiences, growing up. And, I think that's what, makes memes funny and, TikTok, things of that nature. And we want to talk about a shared experience that we've all had and kind of list our top 3, each person here. Our top 3 moments where our parents let us get away with some suspect things. Excuse me. And, yeah, I'm pretty excited for this. It's had a lasting impact on, our lives, to be honest with you. And I say that not in a serious way at all. I say that in a joking way. And I hope my mom listens to this one day because I have some serious questions for her. Why? How? People ask why I got commitment issues and all these other issues. And it's because of these 3 reasons that we're going to get into here. So, Kenny, I'm going to have you start off with your number 3.
All right. So my number 3 would be, I used to just disappear. I want to say junior and senior year, I'd go sometimes week and a half at a time where I would not come home. I'd be at our boy Gino's house, and granted, I was still going to school. I was just like, why am I gonna go home? Like, it's whack over there. And I have a cell phone, right? And my mother would just never call, never try looking for me, nothing. It was just like, carry on your day. Like, there was even one time I think I told you this. There was one time I came back because I was like, you know what, I need some extra clothes. I'm washing basketball shorts over there. I'm trying to play ball today. Let me just pop on in. It's been like 6 days since I've been home. I came home after school. Everybody was having family dinner. Like, just looked at me like I was the outsider. And I was like, oh shit, let me not interrupt your meal. I'm just gonna go grab some shorts.
And you know what's funny? Your mom probably should have called an alert a couple days beforehand, like, "Hey, my son's missing." And the fact that you walked in on family dinner says a lot. Were you loved? It's okay. You're loved now, but question is, were you loved then?
Exactly. Those are some of the things I'm like, Jesus, like, you know, did they not care? Did they have just way too much trust in me? Was it just a flip of the coin? They're like, yo, we're not getting any emergency calls, and we're not getting calls that he's not showing up to school, so I guess he's fine. Whatever the case may be, it's not right. You know, was it okay? Not at all. That's not one of those things you let your kid get away with. You know what I mean? It's not like I was staying at family's house. I literally had no family here at the time.
So speaking about the topic of disappearing, totally unrelated, but as I'm watching myself in this video, I always do these like Zoom calls for work or something like that, and we're doing these podcasts, and I always expect like figure to just like drift behind me. So if that ever happens, I'm gonna need you to stop the video and call 911, because I get freaked the fuck out that is about to happen. Maybe that's just too much Dead by Daylight. I don't know what's going on, but just be aware, the listeners, Kenny, if y'all ever see anything, just boop, boop, that's not me. I don't fuck with any of that. So that's real. Please help brother out.
Listen, that's definitely the Dead by Daylight talking. You get me? That's too many times of repairing generators and having homeboy just pop up right behind you, scoop you up like scoop.
Slash.
Done. So let me hear your number 3, Ty.
All right, so I'm gonna start off my list strong. My number 3 is when your parents stop checking your homework. It's, for me, they stopped checking like how I was doing in school, but they would always do this thing at the end of the semester, end of the period, where they want to check your report card, and they'd be shocked you got a C or you got a D, and it's like, you ain't been doing your work. Why'd you get this grade? Punishment, punishment, punishment. And it's like, hold on. This is a team effort here, mother. Okay? This is a team effort here, stepdad. So, yeah, you guys support me, whatever. But when's the last time you asked me, hey, you doing your homework? You see me outside all the motherfucking time. You don't think I have no homework? You ain't gonna ask me what book I'm reading? You're not even interested in any of the ancillary pieces that go into these grades, but you just expect me to show you straight A's at the end of the motherfucking period. Nah, you out here letting me do whatever I want when I come home from school. So I'm not mature enough to be like, okay, I'm gonna read. No, my friend's calling me to go play ball. I'm gonna go dribble with my right hand for the next 2 hours because I can't go to my left. Because also I wasn't taught to go to my left at an early age, so now I'm this fucked up. But anyway, it's another different story. But yeah, like I'm gonna need parents to understand that it is, there's a cause and effect, and you got to help guide your kids through. You got to help guide your kids through these times when they're in school, and check on them, and not just when they're younger and ask them, hey, did you do your homework? Ask them when they're in high school. Ask them what they're reading. Be interested in what they're doing, because those things matter, and it helps them stay. What's the word I'm looking for? It helps them stay on track and helps them. Yeah, just stay on track, for lack of a better word. I won't get too hung up on it. But, I don't have kids. I'm not telling you guys what to do, but I'm saying like that would have helped me if I was younger, if my mom had just been a bit more engaged. And this is not a shot at, my mother or parents. I don't want anyone to be like, you should be grateful, because I am. I love my mom. She did the best she could with, everything she knew. But I'm just getting these jokes off. And for me, I just always found it funny looking back on it that all you cared about was the end result, but you wasn't with me shooting in the dream, Mom.
Listen, I'm going to take you up. I was ready for number 2. I didn't realize you were coming out here with number 3 like this, because my number 2 taking yours to a whole nother level.
Okay, go ahead.
She just stopped checking everything. She stopped checking if I had homework, if I had grades. You get me? Like, I don't know if she thought that high school worked a little different in the United States than it did in DR. but she ain't. She didn't check nothing. Not a letter grade. Attended no parent teacher conferences. Didn't even know who my teachers were. I don't think she knew who was the guidance counselors in high school. It was completely detached. When I tell you, I entered high school, and that's when the whole no checking grades. I could just go on weeks at a time, not being home. I just started feeling like, yo, am I fending for myself at this point? Like, am I in like in those urban stories where like the kid gets left in the mountain, like with a spear to fend off against the nature, the wild, and just come find his way back home? Is that what I'm going through? So it was just one of those. I think what was it, senior year, when I was like, yo, I gotta to graduate, I need to do summer school. She was like, what? Why? And I was like,
because you was out here letting me live my life in the summer.
I was like, you're asking this now? Like, I've gone through 4 years of just whatever I wanted at this school. Like, for Christ's sake, I was about to join the Marines, and the Marines wanted to pull me from this high school, and they were like, listen, I've seen you in your interactions at this school. This is like a social club to you. And I didn't know what to respond to the Marine recruiter. I was like, yo, that's kind of right. Like, I don't get in trouble. Like, I roam these halls like I own the place, I'm like, damn, who knows the last time I actually took a class serious? Not saying that's what should have happened, right? Not blaming nobody, but I was like, damn.
And it is funny because, like, when you're younger, I don't know when it stops. Like, does it stop? I feel like it stops in middle school somewhere, where they just stop kind of caring what's happening. And then you start getting friends, a social life, and, it's like, damn, all right, I guess I'm a grown-ass adult now. I need to start paying taxes. I don't know how this works. And
right.
I guess you want me to start putting on the bills, but I don't know how bills work, so I'm just give you some money every now and then. And I think this is what you buy at the grocery store.
Like,
Pop-Tarts are nutritious, right?
Listen, this is how you knew, right? I'll tell you this, as an added thing, as an added bonus. It's not like I was out here, right? Even when I would disappear, like, I knew my way around town. I didn't know how to take a public bus until I was like in senior year. I was walking everywhere at that. The amount of mileage I put on these legs, just the 4 years of high school, until one of my boys was like, yo, let's hop on the bus. And I literally looked at him and I was like, yo, I don't know how to take it. They looked at me wild, and I'm like, yo, what? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know how to take the bus. They're like, yo, we're gonna insert $1. I'll show you where. Like, bet, I appreciate it. Come on.
And so we're gonna kind of mix our number twos here, because that leads straight into my number two, which is, Mom, it's 10 o'clock. Do you know where I ever was? It may have been 7 o'clock. And once I turned like 15, I feel like my mom never knew. I got into a whole car accident one night, and my boy slept at my crib, and no one ever knew. Luckily, I didn't get injured. None of us got injured. But, like, you talk about putting miles on these, miles on the legs. People now wonder why, like, why don't you want to walk and enjoy the weather? Because I was walking. I already walked enough for 2 fucking lifetimes. I hate walking. I got a car. I'm not walking anymore. I remember some of the funniest moments being, I was at like football practice. I started football my freshman year, track practice and whatever other sports I was playing, wrestling, throughout my 4 years of high school. And I remember my mom probably coming to pick me up one time. My stepdad coming to pick me up maybe one time. And I could be exaggerating. It could be like 3. But this is how throughout high school, right? But then you'd always get to the crib from some, like, maybe your boy's mom or whatever, your girlfriend's mom or PVTA, or you walked. And you would always pull up at the house, and 8 times out of 10, there'd be the car just sitting there in the driveway. And it's like, oh, bet you couldn't pick me up. And then, like, don't ever bring it up because it'd be like,
oh no,
gas, and I was running errands, and
nobody told you to join the sport.
Mom, how do you think I'm supposed to get into college? Huh? They want to see that I'm doing something extracurricular because I ain't doing no curriculars because we just talked about that. So I'm at least trying extracurricular stuff. But shit, I mean, come and help a brother out. And, you know, I remember my mom probably came to like a few of my games and whatnot. And I'm not even sure sometimes she took me back from the game. I feel like sometimes I see her at the game and at the end, she'd be like, you gotta find your way home. Like, all right, bet. Like, I don't remember driving back home with my mother, or maybe my stepdad, maybe every, I don't know, once every 6 games, if that. But it just used to baffle my mind. I'm you care more about mileage than where the hell I'm at. I was just out there ripping, running the streets, biking around town. Like, you know, it was the safest thing in the world. We lived in Springfield, Mass. I mean, this ain't Chi-Town City, but this also ain't, you know, Stamford, Connecticut. I mean, I just needed a little bit more care, being paid attention to where I'm at. And luckily, you know, I turned out okay, but
luckily.
I don't know. Maybe I was responsible enough. My mom trusted me, but she trusted me way too much.
Way too much. It was either that or it was just like naive. Like, oh, nothing's going to happen. For Christ's sake, if I remember correctly, we had friends in high school who got shot at parties. House parties in high school.
Went to some of these parties where they just be like bang, 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 bang up in the air. And then, you know, you're running and you get home and don't be slamming the door. You got here late. You ain't gonna ask me what happened to me tonight while I come in the house all diaphoretic, sweaty, you know, heart rate pounding. Nah, you just want slamming the door, turn on the lights. I'm just saying.
That was number 2.
That was. So, Kenny, what do you got for your crest de la resistance, or whatever you want to say? You're number 1.
The cherry on top of one thing, of the top 3 things that I got away with that I should never have gotten away with. I went 2 years driving without a license. Like,
you're a thug. That's that Grand Theft Auto. That's not your parents, yo. We're totally blaming GTA 3 for that one.
Yo, she gave me keys to that Kia Sportage. That thing barely.
Wait, she gave you the keys?
Yeah.
Take the keys, or did she give you the keys?
She gave me the keys. I was supposed to only go from home to work, right, to my part-time job, and at that, from home maybe to school sometimes and back. But at that age, are we only doing that? Are we? No. That's the clear-cut answer.
So I'm gonna need you to also put a link to DSF or DCF in the show notes, just in case any of our listeners or me want to call and be like, hey, is there a statute of limitation on Kenny's mom because she was out here letting him drive dirty at the age of 16, risking people's lives? He needs to be taken away. I'm just saying.
Listen. When I look back on it, I'm like, yo, I got taught just like it was like the Wild Wild West. My stepdad was just like, yo, hop in. Like, we were taking lunch to my brother one night. He was working security at the hospital. He was like, you know what? Your mom doesn't know. Just jump in. I'm going to teach you how to drive right now. And I'm like, what? I'm like looking around. I'm like, it's 8 o'clock at night. I'm like, I could barely tell colors from each other. Some people blend in the dark right now for me. I'm like, oh no. Driving through, barely knew how to take corners, turn into streets. We didn't die, of course, because I'm still here, unless this is a dream in the afterlife or something, right? Or I'm in a coma, and this podcast is not real. But 2 years, man. She was like, oh, he told her, he was like, oh, I'm gonna teach him. We're not gonna spend money on driving school. And I was like, so then I found out that only way to get the license prior to 18 is if you go to driving school. So I was like, yo, I didn't just learn how to drive to be sitting here not driving. So, and I didn't just work a part-time job to give you money to fix this car so it could be sitting there. I'm driving this car until I turn 18 and I could pay for this test at the age of 18 without driving school. And that's what I did. Will I say I ever got stopped? Yes, I did. That's a whole different story. Got stopped one night without a license, drinking with, our boy, Springfield's Rambo, Officer Whitaker now. And I was like, yo, you need to pretend like you're drunk, bro. And the story we gave to this state trooper, I was like, yo, this is my cousin from out of town. He was drunk. He used my mom's car. So I literally took a cab to go get him. I'm driving the car back. I don't got a license, officer. Here's my permit. He looked at me and Czar was like trembling, right? And I was like looking. I'm like, what is he gonna do? He's like, I'm gonna check if you got any warrants. I'm like, all right, officer, thank you. Came back and he was like, where are you guys going? I'm like, straight to my house. Get there now. No stopping. And I was like, thank the Lord. I was like, I don't know how I got off, especially a state trooper. Not sure how that happened. Luck was on my side.
Luck of the Irish, bro.
Yep. So that was my number one, man. Like right there, I say out of all the wild things, man, letting me just drive without a license. Insurance was under her name. Anything could have happened. When I was a new driver, it wasn't like I was seasoned vet where I knew what I was doing. Like, I just got a phone too, so I was paying more attention to my phone, trying to get the music through the aux and trying to impress. I was not paying attention to the road at that point. 2 years, man. 2 years. Got no bodies to my name, thank God.
And you know what it is? Again, to defend your mom, because I'm out here Captain Save Everybody tonight. Maybe it was because it was a Kia Sportage, and she was like, you can't really go that fast in a Kia Sportage. Like, even if he does get pulled over, case in point, no one's going to take him seriously in a Kia Sportage. How dangerous can it be? So if you were my kid, to be honest with you, and you had a Kia Sportage, I'm letting you just joyride it because it's a Kia Sportage.
Yo, and the craziness it was like an older Kia Sportage too, and it definitely had a lot going wrong with it, because there would be a point in time I'm at 35 and it felt like the Millennium Falcon. When Han Solo's telling Chewie like, we gotta jump, and it's stalling, like it was like that. It was like, yo, is it gonna hit the next gear? I'm in automatic. I'm sitting there. It's making weird noises at 35 miles per hour, and then it would kick back and kick forward. And I'd hit 45. I was like, go. No, like, okay, we going. Like, trying to hop on the highway with that car was always an experience. I'm like, are we gonna hit that? Are we gonna get to the next gear before we get on this off this ramp? All right, let's see. Ah, we're good. We're going.
I like it, man. I like it.
So,
all right,
I'm waiting. Drum roll, please. This number one from
listen,
Ty.
My number one. This is difficult, but I'm gonna need parents to pay attention to what their kids do, especially in their teenage to adult years. I know those are some of the hardest years as a parent and for the child, but case in point for me, how the fuck I don't have any kids right now is a fucking mystery for the ages. How the fuck I'm not locked up is a mystery for the ages. Now, I say this to all say, yes, we're going to do what we want to do. You can't control everything. I get that. I do. Trust me, I do. But let me give you some examples before you guys start going off on me. Maybe comment sections for those listening. So, remember LimeWire, bro? I'll start with something slow.
100%.
LimeWire. What else was there? I kind of caught the tail end of the Napster wave.
Yep.
Bear Hugger, whatever it was called, Bear Share.
Yep.
It was those illegal downloading sites or things of that nature. AOL chat, and
the AIM chat. Oh my god,
AIM chat. And just online activity was lawless in the early 2000s. And I was on some reckless shit. I was watching things I shouldn't have watched. I was talking to, teenage girls my age who were out here finger banging themselves and showing me boobs and talking about parts of the anatomy I didn't know existed. I had one girl one time, she was like, finger my butt. And I was just like, ew. Well, of course I did. But, a little too graphic. But I say these things to say, my parents never asked me what I was doing on the interwebs. I mean, maybe at the beginning, but then it was just like, he's safe. He's playing Yahooligans. And I was being a hooligan out here in these streets, downloading files to the fucking computer that shouldn't have been there. And then my stepdad be like, why the fuck my computer so slow? Well, sir, if you would have asked me what I was downloading, or maybe went back and looked at some things, I may have downloaded the wrong Justin Timberlake song. And now you have a file destroying virus on your computer. So pay attention to, especially nowadays, make sure you pay attention to what your kids are, watching on the internet, what they're watching, on these apps, and what they're downloading, and
who they're interacting with, right?
Yeah, and I don't, don't be too hard on them, but just pay attention. Even if it's you watching over their shoulder, or the rec asking them, or whatever, how you do it, just pay attention, because those things have a lasting impact on their future. Those things kind of stick with them, what they see, what they hear, and whatnot. So that's kind of my first subdivision of that. But then I say I was talking to girls left and right. I wasn't a very good player, but I was a player nonetheless. And I was out here having sex, doing the nasty, the dirty,
the whoopee,
the whoopee. And I was allowed to stay at my girlfriend's house sometimes, and they're too long. And I remember my girlfriend's parents being, she was Caucasian, so maybe that's what it is. But her parents would be like, what are you guys doing? But like my mom and my stepdad really asked me, never really taught me or asked me about my sexual activity. I remember one time my room was right near the living room. He got free access to, Playboy. Shout out. That was the plug right there. Had all the channels. So I was peeking under the door, watching what he was watching. Sometimes when he go to sleep, I'm like, shit, I'm gonna watch it too. We had the sex chat line, and you'd be talking about some shit you don't even know. I was like fucking 14, telling him, I'm gonna blow your back out. I wouldn't even know how to if I tried. But like sex, even at that age, is just like, it's so important to know, what your kids are up to. And they may not tell you the truth, but even if they don't, make sure you educate them. Like, hey, wear rubber. Be honest with them. Like, yo, the cost of kids, bam. Kids are a responsibility, bam. Exactly. Let them know that stuff impacts your future. And looking back on it, I wish I would have had more of those adult conversations about sex with my parents. Even my dad, I keep talking about my stepdad, but even my dad, he would tell me certain things, but I feel like as a guy, sometimes, they kind of give you that, you're doing a good job, player. But it's like, nah, son, because this player about to bring you home another member on the starting roster, and then you're gonna be mad at me. So, yeah, man, just make sure that you're also, I say man, but ladies too, I apologize. Just make sure that you're paying attention to what your kids are doing sexually, and the conversations that they're having, to make sure that they are having well-informed conversations about sex and looking at sex in a healthy manner, because it can be misconstrued, in and the way we look at things on the internet and the way we talk to some of our friends. And if a lot of your health, a lot of your sex education comes from your friends during lunchtime, it's not, it's not very good for their future.
Not at all.
So,
not at all.
Nah, man, I did some dirty things when I was a teenager. Listen, and I regret.
We all have. We're not proud of these things. I must say that I don't know how that slipped out of my top 3 as well, because listen, I one time, I think senior year, just full blown middle of the day, like 4:30 in the afternoon. A few times that I was home, I was there with my girlfriend, and I was like, "Oh, we're being quiet." Nope. And do you think anybody had a conversation with me like, Kenny, that's not appropriate to be doing? Not in the middle of the day, not at all. Like nothing. And I was like, okay. I walked out. I'm like, looked around, and I'm like, okay, it's a little awkward. I could feel the tension in the room. Nobody's gonna broach the topic though.
And you're not, and I didn't expect my mom to control everything I did. She's not going to be able to sexually, or in any case. But it'd been nice if she asked me a little bit more. I probably would have lied, but maybe she could have find better ways to get me to tell the truth. I mean, she always did when she wanted to beat me and stuff like that. But no, on a serious note, I want to say shout out
DCF line for the statutory limits right there.
I want to say shout out to the girl in Hawaii who we had this one-on-one little connection that we would hop on this little video chat, and bro, she introduced me to being an adult. And I don't know her name. She probably will never hear this, but you know me and I know you, and I just want to say I appreciate you for getting me through my prepubescent years.
Look at that. The girl from Hawaii. Shout out.
But yeah, man, that was I love my mom, I love my dad. My stepdad was he did the best he could, and shout out to him too. Appreciate him, but man,
listen, when you really think about it, and you're like, holy crap, like how did I get through? And I don't have like an army of kids, or I wasn't arrested. How am I even still here? I even say it. I even said, I think one time, this isn't my mom, right? But I think I was like 19 at the time, and I told a couple people the story, and I'm like, yo, I don't know how I survived, right? Like this was like a New Year's. One New Year's, I was like, yo, I'm not staying home for this. I'm 19, and what am I doing at 19? I can't drink, right? I can't legally go into a club and drink on New Year's, right? I should have been staying my black ass home, right? Nope. Decided to go drink at a friend's house. After midnight hit, I was like, yo, I'm gonna walk home. Listen to that, walk home. I wasn't even driving, right? I'm gonna walk home, and then I get stopped by a couple white dudes, right? And they're like, yo, do you know how to get to such and such street? And I'm like, yo, I live a street away. They're like, for real? I'm like, yeah. They're like, yo, hop in and tell, are you on your way there? I'm like, yeah, hop in. Tell us how to get there. Yo, hopped in the backseat of these people's car, man. I could have gotten taken. I have known Liam Neeson in my family, so I would have been gone, never to be seen again. But luckily enough, they weren't lying to me, right? I made it to the street. They were all like, they were like, yo, you the best. You clutched it. Yo, if you trying to come inside and drink and party, we got a bunch of alcohol inside. I'm like, yo, nah. I'm gonna walk home. But good looks, have fun, guys. Walked home, went to sleep. Woke up the next day, and I'm like, yo, did I really hop in the back of a car, of a random people's car? Like, I'm like, oh man, I gotta simmer down with the wild, reckless shit. I'm gonna go missing at some point in time.
And bro, I don't blame anyone else, but me, I got a little bit of a late start in life, my career wise and all that stuff. And I attribute some of it to just being so naive, thinking I had it all figured out around those ages. And I wish I would have reached out to my parents more, not to, put the blame on them. I should have reached out to them more and be like, hey, here's what's happened in my life. Here's what I'm struggling with. And, we could have worked through it together. So please, 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 for any parents out there, any teenagers out there, don't think you have all the answers. It's okay to include your family in
you do not have the answers. Like, you don't think you got all the answers. You have none. Whatever you think the answer is right at that time, it's wrong. Reach out to your parents. Talk to an adult, somebody, man. Look for some advice, because whatever you think is the right answer is not it, most likely. You're gonna find out real quick once you start hearing somebody else, an adult giving you some advice. You're gonna be like, that's completely like 180 from what I was thinking, because you was wrong.
Unless I will say, it's with your math homework, you're probably right and your parents are probably wrong, unless your family is your father or mother is a mathematician or something of the sort. But yeah, you're probably wrong otherwise. So reach out for some adult help.
I just thought about this, and before we sign out, right, we gave our top 3, but I feel as though this one didn't make the cut, right? And I'm thinking about it, and this is the honorable mention.
Honorable mention.
Parents, please get to know who your kid is having sleepover and come over to the house. There's been too many times where I had friends who my mother never met before, and she just didn't question it, and they would stay the night. I'd say there was one time my mother never met our dear friend George, aka Mr. Beast, got his own day in high school, right? Never met him. My man slept over, ate half the fridge, right? Never met this kid before. Dude looks like he's not even a teenager with how developed he was at that point in time, right? And I think back and I'm like, yo, I could have been this could have been a whole grown ass man staying at the house, right? And how would you know? You saw just the figure real quick, and I'm like, yo, my friend's sleeping over. Okay, I'm going to sleep. That was it. That was the interaction. You don't know what friend, who, you didn't know we were up to. We could have been in there just trying to figure out what mischief we were gonna get into, if we were gonna leave, go party, go break stuff in the middle of the night, go steal bikes. You don't know what we were doing, right? Nothing, no questions at all. She gave no effort to get to know who I was aligning myself with.
Yeah, that's another good thing. Make sure that you introduce your friends to your parents, and make sure your friends are introduced. Make sure as parents, you are knowing who your friends are hanging out with. Even if you may have only seen that person one time, just ask.
Exactly.
You know what? Because that could have been a grown man. And if I was your mom, I would have had a lot of questions, but I'm also not questioning why this dude's in my house. I would have asked you the next morning, because that's a big ass motherfucker and big dark black, and I would have been scared. So maybe she thought you were being held up. Like, well, shit, you being held up. I'm not about to be held up. Or maybe she thought that was your lover, and she was just letting you explore your sexuality. Which, shout out to your mom for that one. Appreciate you.
That is too funny. So that's the honorable mention. I don't think I really have another one to throw out there, because I think everything else kind of falls into one of these categories of just, not the school, the negligence with the school, I would say also, I didn't get away with this, but I would say, I don't know if your mother ever told you, you never get too old to get beat. One of those lines that sticks with me, man. I think I was like 20 one time. I think she wanted me to make iced tea a certain way, and I told her it was the wrong way. I was like, yo, that's too much sugar. Yo, I turned back. She was hitting me. I was like, what's going on here? Like, wait a second. I'm 20. I got a full-time job. Like, why are you hitting me?
And another thing I'm gonna need parents to realize is that I'm gonna need y'all to get some new sayings, some new tropes about what you saying to us. Like, you too old, you never too old to get beat. It's like, yeah, but no, I am gonna age out of it. You know,
100%.
I'm probably going to be able to run faster than you. I'm just going to run in circles around you. And then, you know, that's when your dad steps in sometimes. You're like, oh, duh. And it's like, yeah, but Dad, I know you got a bad hip, so I'm just going to run to the right the entire time. And you're not going to be able to do much like a bear. If I just run to the side, you don't really have much lateral speed. So
you said like a bear. Is that a strategy for surviving a bear? Like move laterally?
I read this meme one time, and memes are always true. Anyone who knows memes knows shit is true. They say that if you are ever running from a bear, try to run around stuff or try to run side to side, because bears are too big and they don't have a lot of lateral quickness. If you get fucked up by a bear off listening to that advice, why are you listening to this podcast anyway? That's your fault, not mine. I have legally, the judge is going to be like, the fuck are you doing listening to the podcast? Like, who the fuck are these motherfuckers? Just saying. But if it does work out, remember you listen to this podcast, shout out.
Oh, man. Oh, before we sign on now, if everybody at first didn't catch it when he kind of pointed with his fingers, I know the podcast listeners can't view visually, but head on over to YouTube. You can see Ty got the Why the Hell podcast, that hat he's rocking it right now. You know,
real Vanna White.
You could check that out in the description on the video below. You know, the link to the merch store, and you could grab one of those to support the podcast.
Good quality hat, guys. Good quality hat.
So Ty, sign us out, man. Sign us out.
So, you know, you guys can find me at nevermakingasocialmedia.com. I'm on there. I got a bunch of likes. You know, I'm sort of like a influencer of somebody, I think.
You've been talking about influencers for like 4 days now.
But, you know, you can find Kenny at
Kemba Not Kaneki Gaming on Instagram and Kemba Not Kaneki on Twitter. I'll have that in the description below on both the video and the podcast. And also check out the website, thegamingcorner.org.
So for the dyslexic folks, can you just spell Kemba Not Kaneki? Because that sounds crazy. If you really like say it too fast, people might type in the wrong thing and it might take them to something that they don't want to be taken to.
I got you. So Kemba Not Kaneki is KenButNotKaneki.
So there's only one T in that B-U-T-T, and it's not Bukaki, it's Bukani or whatever he said.
We're not doing that. That's Ant's joke. I'm not acknowledging that.
But no, for real, anyone who is listening to us, you know, please keep listening. We appreciate every view, even if it's only 3 seconds. And we didn't give our mental health tip of the week at the beginning of the show, so we apologize for that. But before we sign off, I just want to let everyone know, you know, something I'm struggling with personally is don't let regret take over your life. It's you know, someone said in a song one time I listened to, it's okay to live with regret or two. It's a human thing. You know, you're going to look back on some moments in life and, you know, maybe you just didn't know how to act, or, you know, you just did some things you're ashamed of, but don't let that control your life and be detrimental to the things you're trying to develop being forward. You know, take the lessons that you learn from that and apply them to, you know, what you do next. So, you know, take away that from this podcast. If you take away anything, please, please, please. And if you need help, you know, please Google some mental health support things. We'd love to, you know, get some of those in the show for you guys, maybe some phone numbers and stuff like that. I'll work on that. But please take care of your mental health. Very, very important. I know you guys hear that all the time. But yeah, love you guys. Appreciate you, Ken.
Appreciate you, man. I will check everybody.
Got a hot show coming up next week.
Ooh, yeah. We out.